what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be making a ring out of this dinosaur fossil. You can see this is a really cool piece. We'll have some B-roll of it, but it's awesome. It's got a cell structure that you can still see. So the amount of preservation that this has had over its 150 million year lifespan is incredible. So I love how you can see all those details in here. And the inspiration for this ring is because I just got a Ford Raptor. So I thought, what would be better than a dinosaur ring to go with my dinosaur truck? And today's video is one that I especially think you could do at home. You're not going to need a lot of materials or tools for it. So we've just got our dinosaur bone piece. It's actually easier than you think to source real authentic dinosaur bone. You can go on eBay and there's some really great guys on there with great reviews, good authenticity, all of that. And so you just need a piece of this. It's not too expensive. It is still pretty expensive, but this is big enough to make quite a few rings. So if you get a smaller piece, you can just make one ring out of it. Then you need some diamond hole saws. That way you can cut out all of the inner and outer diameters to everything. You will have to be really careful with it because it's fragile. But these will help make things go a lot quicker. And then we're going to be doing a lot of hand shaping to it. So you're going to need some Dremel accessories. Here's a diamond cutoff wheel and a bigger diamond cutoff wheel. Those are kind of my favorites. If you're working with stone, just diamond Dremel accessories. So here's another one. We're going to be using that a lot too. So just using a lot of Dremel stuff. Dremels are really inexpensive. You can get a knockoff one for like 15 bucks on Amazon. You can get a set of these diamond hole saws for like 15 bucks. I'll have links to everything down in the description. And because I'm tying this thing into the Ford Raptor that I just bought, I thought it'd be fun to do a giveaway. So I'm going to give away one of these rings, not the one that I make in the video, but I'll make the winner a ring in their size. And the way to enter is all you need to do is just go to the link in the description and follow my personal Instagram page. That's where I'm posting a lot of my new car content or truck stuff, just any of that. So if you're interested, just check out the link in the description. That'll tell you everything you need to know. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so for this first step, I've got the piece laid out here on my drill press, and I've selected from my set of diamond hole saws here the two that are the most applicable. So I just took a ring that already fits me, this one here, and I sized it up like this. I want to make sure there's enough room for it to wiggle. That way I've got a little bit of excess space on there so I can finish it up and give it a much better surface finish. And then for the outer piece, because I want this to be strong, I'm going to go quite a bit bigger than I need to. And then later on, I'm going to sand it back to its some good dimensions. So these are the two pieces I've got. We're going to end up with a chunky looking ring, but we'll sand it down to make it a lot more uniform and a lot more comfortable to wear. And of course, if you do not have a drill press, this is something you could use a power drill to do. So I've just got one here. It would be a little bit more tricky, but the same rules would apply. You just want to use water to keep things from overheating, and then you just want to clamp it down gently so it doesn't crack. So the last thing to mention before I start cutting is I don't want to cut all the way through the material yet. The reason for that is if I cut all the way through and it detaches, then the piece of dinosaur bone is going to be stuck in here, and it's going to fling it around at however many RPMs the drill press is going at, and it'll completely shatter it. So I'm going to use the depth stop for this. So I'm going to carefully set my piece of dinosaur bone aside, and then I'm going to put the smaller hole saw in my drill chuck. I'm going to get it in there pretty tight because I don't want it slipping, because if it goes up into the drill press, our depth stop is not going to be accurate anymore. So you don't want it to slip. Just make sure it's good and tight. Now I'm going to bring it down till it's touching the surface of the table here. That would be cutting all the way through the dinosaur bone if we were cutting through it. And I'm going to take it a little bit further up, and then I'll use the depth stop to stop it there. That way as I'm drilling through, it's going to come to a stop, and I can use this scrap of paper towel to demonstrate this. It's not touching. So I'll come to a stop, and it's just like a millimeter or two before it cuts all the way through. That way we can just get some kind of perforations, I guess I'll call it, on this. And then later I can use the diamond bits on my Dremel to cut it all the way through, and that'll be a lot more gentle. That way the whole thing won't just fall apart. So I've selected where I want to cut. I don't want to waste material, so I'm going to go in this corner here, where you can see there's kind of a perfect sized little like peninsula or something sticking off that will make a really nice ring. It's got a really nice pattern there, and it won't use a lot of material, so that's a perfect spot. And then I'm clamping it down. You do want to be gentle. This is a fragile material, so I'm just using these hand clamps with the rubber tips on it. That way there's not too much stress on there. And then I'm going to use some water here, and I've got my drill press set to a slow to medium setting. It's not the slowest speed, but it's not even like half of its RPM capability. So I'm going pretty slow, and I'm just trying to be gentle. I'm gonna take my time and just slowly cut till it's almost all the way through. All right, I just hit the bottom of the depth stop. That means we should be almost all the way cut through this. I'm not seeing any cracks so far, so that's a good sign. Perfect. So now I'll use the cutoff wheel and I'll cut this donut section off. Then we'll have a nice little ring shape that we can work with to refine it. All right, so I just noticed there's a little bit of fracturing going on, and so that's actually kind of good for this video, so I can go over it. If you have a little crack like this show up, if you take care of it immediately, you've got a really good chance of it not being an issue later on. So what I've got here is super thin super glue or cyanacrylate adhesive, and you can just see how liquidy it is. And that's really important because it uses capillary action to fill in the crack. So just put a dab there, and you can instantly see it just suck into all the teeny little cracks and voids in there. So that's absolutely necessary. This would not work if you're using regular super glue, so don't even bother trying it. All right, check this out. We've got a really rough ring shape, but we've actually made a lot of progress. So I'm going to take the rest of my diamond pieces here. These specifically are really handy. And using these and just maybe some of the other accessories I've got, I'll go ahead and trim it up and make it a lot more of an elegant actual ring shape. All right, so I'm done with the inside for now. Now I need to trim down the outer diameter of it because it's still quite a thick ring. So to do this, I've got my big, huge diamond cutoff wheel here. This is a super handy tool. And these blocks here are just to get the level of it, how I need. So you can see this kind of creates a little sanding table here. The diamond wheel would just barely hit this. And so it gives me a nice big surface to go around and just slowly sand the outer diameter down. And I'm just going to be doing this by hand, and so it's pretty tricky because you want to make sure that you keep your circles, your inner and outer diameters concentric, and then you also want to have a nice circular shape to it, so you don't want it to become egg-shaped or anything like that. So it's kind of tricky. You just got to be patient, and you got to pay really close attention to it because it's easy to get off track and then just mess it all up. So I'll go ahead and get right into it. All right, I've got it shaped exactly how I want. You can see it's got a nice rounded profile to it. Now it's still a little bit like this edge, for example, on the outside, that's still a little bit harsh. I've got it shaped how I want, but I don't have it all rounded off how I want. So that's what I'm going to do with this bit, is I'm just gonna go through by hand and just round the whole thing off. You can see there's some like harsh lines where there's just a not good roundness to the bevel of it. And so that's what I'm trying to fix up here. I got all the general shaping, the bulk of the work done with the bigger, more heavy duty tool. And now I'm gonna go through and just fine tune it with this. All right, I just finished up all of the shaping and got a really nice profile to both the outside and the inside of the ring. Now I'm going to take a Dremel with a sanding wheel on it, and this is a finer grit sanding wheel. I'm just gonna go over the whole thing and try to get rid of any of the deep scratches that the rougher diamonds left. And then once I'm done with that, we'll hit it with some clear coat and it should be finished. So here the ring is finished, and you can see the way that pattern turned out. It's incredible, so much detail. I just love this one. This is a material that I think we're just barely scratching the surface here. So I'm excited to see, maybe I'll try another design. If you'd be interested in seeing that, let me know. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget about the giveaway, by the way. There's a link to that down in the description. All you have to do is follow my personal page, and then I'll have a giveaway post on there that you need to comment on. So super straightforward. But that's all I've got to show you guys this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.